Leftovers don't always come from the fridge. Sometimes they fall off the tree. So, in the spirit of use what you have, I'm sharing a fresh mango crisp recipe because summers in Florida mean mangoes are everywhere. And if you don't have a mango tree, your neighbor does, or your coworker, or your babysitter. The best part? I make a double batch of the crisp topping, so when the next bag of mangoes shows up in a few days, dessert is halfway done. Get ready, I'll show you how to make it. Obviously, we're starting with fresh mangoes. Although, if you don't have mangoes in your backyard, then you can use frozen fruit as well. To start, I'm going to slice down either side of the pit, and this is just going to expose the flesh, which I can score easily with a sharp knife. And you see it's just kind of a diamond pattern, and then I'm going to use a spoon to scoop it out. If your mangoes are on the firmer side, you may want to invert the fruit by pushing up into the center portion and exposing those diamond shapes, and then you just cut them off with the knife. But I'm going to go ahead and do this to 4 or 5 mangoes. And if you wanted to make a double batch or a triple batch, you certainly could. This is a very forgiving and malleable recipe. Look at how juicy these mangoes are. I advise tasting it just to make sure that it's the right level of sweetness. Sometimes they can be a little on the tart side, and you may need to adjust the amount of sugar that you add, either more or less. But just go ahead and continue cutting the mangoes, scoring them, and scooping out the flesh. Not all of the fruit has to be perfectly diced. There's still plenty of it right around the pit. So just cut the top of the peel and then just remove it, and you'll be able to use a sharp knife to remove the excess mango that's all around this. Or enjoy a cook's treat and just scrape the meat off with your teeth and have a little snack. All of the fruit goes into a bowl, and this is probably about 5 or 6 cups of fresh mango. Now we're going to season it, and I'm going to use a little bit of ginger. The mango is so sweet that it needs a little bit of heat and spice to really give it dimension. So I'm using the back, or actually the front of a spoon to take off the peel, and then I'm just going to remove any kind of nubby or gray bits. You'll want to chop or very finely mince the ginger. I use a microplane for this because it's the most efficient way to do it. It's also perfect for zesting the lime, and I like to add a little bit of citrus into the mix to give it a really balanced flavor with the fresh fruit. So we've got the zest of one lime, about an inch of ginger that I've grated, and I'm just going to mix this directly into the mangoes. And you want to stir it for a couple of times because you don't want big clumps of either the ginger or the lime when you take a bite. It should just be evenly mixed. So mix it for about a minute or so until it's well incorporated, and then let's do the rest of the filling. So I've got sugar and cornstarch here. You want to mix this well before you add it to the fruit, otherwise, it can clump. But then you add it into the mangoes, and this is going to create that warm, oozy, thick fruit filling that everybody loves. And you just want to fold it in so that it's again well blended and perfect. Spray a 1 quart casserole dish with a little vegetable spray, and then we're going to add the fresh fruit. And just pour it in, give it a good swipe with your spatula, and set it aside. Now let's make the crisp topping with a little bit of brown sugar and flour, some cinnamon, grated ginger, and a little salt. You always want to add salt to balance the flavors. Now, I recommend going through the mixture because sometimes brown sugar clumps, and I like to use my clean hands to just break it apart. Then we're adding a stick of butter that's very cold and has been cubed into 1 inch pieces. So, first we just start by coating the butter with the flour and brown sugar mixture just to give it, so it's not sticking. And then I use my fingers to start breaking it apart, pressing between my thumb and fingers until it comes together and forms a crumble. This may take a few minutes of working through, but this is what it should look like. It's all well combined. Now we're adding the crisp texture, so that's oats, and I like to add a little bit of flaked coconut just for that tropical vibe because we've already got the limes and the mangoes. Why not, right? If you wanted to add some nuts, that would be another good option. You could go with cashews or almonds, even macadamia nuts. This recipe makes more than enough crumble. In fact, you're definitely going to have leftovers, but that's okay. They freeze well, so I just stick them in a Ziploc bag and put them in the freezer for a couple of weeks or days. So we're just going to sprinkle that crumble right on top of the crisp, and this is what it looks like. We're going to put it into an oven about 400 degrees for about 20 minutes, just until it's really bubbly and oozy. That crisp topping is nice and brown. Incidentally, if you need more brown on your topping, you can stick it under the broiler for a minute or so too. And to serve, I like to put this in a bowl with a scoop of vanilla ice cream while it's still really hot. You can see the steam coming off of this. It's perfect this way. And the ice cream just melts right into that hot fruit filling. You will love this mango crisp. If you enjoyed this recipe, I'd love to have you along for more use what you have and leftover ideas. Go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And tell me in the comments, what's the one ingredient you always seem to have too much of? It might just inspire a future recipe. I'm Lisa from Garlic and Zest, helping you save money by using what you have and eating better because of it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.